MINDEF and SAF wanted to make this trip to Manila to meet our counterparts, Defense Secretary Lorenzana and Armed Forces Philippines commanders, to show support for their strong efforts against terrorists in Marawi, Mindanao. Many countries are looking at how the situation evolves, because I think all of us know that if the situation is not contained, or if terrorist cells or terrorist elements entrench themselves in any part of ASEAN, they will launch attacks against other cities. And this is their stated goal. They made it plain. They want to establish Southeast Asia Wilayah, as they call it, the Islamic Caliphate, similar to what ISIS established in Iraq and Syria. So their intentions have been made plain. Their plans are violence, killing of innocent civilians, and forming networks around the world with terrorist elements. So because of that, because of the serious repercussions, many countries are watching the situation and offering assistance. We have to look at this problem in a wider context of the terrorist threat. It goes back really to 2001 with Al-Qaeda, and even before the Twin Towers of Manhattan collapse from that terrorist attack, there were already plans afoot in Singapore to bomb a number of targets, and our Ministry of Home Affairs disrupted the Jamiah Islamiyah cell and aborted that attack. But a year after that, the Bali bomb blast occurred. Now, Al-Qaeda cells have been disrupted, and Singapore was involved in that fight. We contributed to efforts in Iraq, in Afghanistan. We sent our PC-135s, we sent our imagery analysts, we sent our troops to Oruzgan. And there was a clear reason why we were contributing to the international coalition. It was based on the understanding that with terrorists, if you wait in your home country, if you don't combat terrorism together, terrorists will attack countries individually, and no individual country's residents can be safe. We've seen that happen in Jakarta, we've seen that happen in Kuala Lumpur, we're seeing that in Philippines, in this part of the world. We saw it in some degree in Thailand. And as you know, in Singapore, there were actually cells that were both within Singapore, and recently an Indonesian cell that was aiming at targets in Marina Bay Sands. So Al-Qaeda was disrupted and weakened. The next iteration of this terrorist threat was ISIS. And we are contributing to the efforts. We are in Iraq, even as we speak. There's a medical team there. And we are contributing in other ways, tangible ways, to disrupt them. The problem has now come into ASEAN with the situation in Marawi. But it is clear that Marawi, even if the situation is contained, that other provinces are at risk. They have the ISIS-linked elements, plus other groups, plus other extremist groups, have formed networks and intend to continue their plans, to advance their plans, to turn Southeast Asia into a situation similar to Iraq and Syria. I think the repercussions cannot be overestimated. We saw what happened in some degree after the Bali bomb blast. The economy took a hit, confidence was lost, and it was only recovered when our efforts against these terrorist cells, in that case Al-Qaeda, made headway. The same can happen if the situation worsens, whether it's in Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, or Singapore.